Welcome to our weekly meditation town hall. We're so fortunate to have Kelley leading us today. She did a wonderful job of leading us in refuge yesterday for our day-long retreat. So we look forward to that, but I want to start with a few announcements first. So we have the second part of that day-long retreat coming up in June, on June 8th. You don't have to have attended the first one to know what's going on in the second one by any means. So if you'd like to spend the day with us on June 8th, please go to the website and you'll see all the information. And then Lama will be leading us in two topics this summer on death, dying in the Bardo and karma. Those are two Saturday afternoon classes that you can register for, and these are ones that that members get a special discounted price on that. And then we are very excited that in our fall retreat in person, we'll be going to an East Coast location. It's in Litchfield, Connecticut. So if you want to look up Wisdom House, they have some great photos and things that you can check out and think about joining us for that. So that's all the announcements for today, and I am going to turn it over to Kelley to lead us through this practice today. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thank you, Menla, and thank you, as always, for everything you do. For those of you who don't know, none of us would be here if it weren't for Menla. She's behind the scenes of almost everything we do, so thank you. Including teching today, her favorite thing to do. Okay. All right, why don't we arrive? Menla, can you please pull up the bodhicitta prayer? Yeah, we'll move down to us. So we're going to chant together if it suits you. Otherwise, I always recommend you just allow the words to wash over you. This is an oral tradition. There's a lot to be said for just the resonance of the words. So we'll start with the bodhicitta in English. Actually, you know what? We'll do it all in English. We'll start with the Pali refuge, but in English. I take refuge in the enlightened Buddha. I take refuge in the sublime Dharma teaching. I take refuge in the noble Sangha community. From now until reaching perfect Buddhahood, for the benefit of all sentient beings without exception, I shall practice the 6 perfections wholeheartedly day and night. Sentient beings are numberless. We vow to liberate them. Delusions are inexhaustible. We vow to transcend them. Dharma teachings are boundless. We vow to realize them. And the Buddha's enlightened way is unsurpassable. We vow to embody it. Now, this practice is a practice of re-remembering who and what we've always been, in order to be in the world so all of those around us can re-remember who and what they've always been. And we always dedicate our practice to the enlightenment of all beings. But maybe more simply, we dedicate our practice to love for all beings, to the freedom of suffering for all beings. Because at the essence of this practice, there is no separateness. And if you're like me at all, I started out this practice, 25 years ago, forgetting about myself. It was really easy for me to sit and have the belief that I was doing this for all others, for all beings. That I was trying to become who and what I could be in order to be in the world in a way that helped heal others. And somewhere along the way, I realized I wasn't including myself in that. And if we don't include ourselves in that, we really miss the point. Because suffering of all beings begins with this illusion that there is a separate self, that there is a self that matters or doesn't matter, that there's a self that needs to be protected, that there is a self that is anything other than just being. So this I, the I in the phrase I am, is not what we think it is. So our story is one of coming into form, of getting lost along the way once we've arrived in form, and learning from the outside world who we're not. And one of the things we're not is separate, but we learn all kinds of things that we're not. And we get confused about all the things we think we are. And so this I is really at the source of our confusion, because we're conditioned to attach identities to the I, ways of being, behaviors, preconceptions, expectations. So if you imagine this orb of light arriving into being, coming into form in this infant body, there's a moment where who and what we are just is, before anything or anybody outside of us starts to put identifications onto us, starts to tell us who we are and who we're not. This innate Buddha nature, our Rigpa nature, our pure isness, is just right there. And our human incarnation means that we get to go through this life having all these identities put on us, and then if you're in this room, this Zoom room, you're on the path of stripping away all that isn't true. Maybe that's one reason you're here. Maybe you're here for other reasons. But today we're going to talk about what it means to be an I, and how do we get back home to who and what we really are. So the story of becoming, of getting lost, and then awakening back into our oneness. So in a funny way, it's really an exercise on self. And in our culture, If you're doing an exercise on self, you might have all kinds of ideas about what that means, and other people might have all kinds of ideas about what that means. If you're focusing on yourself, there may be a perception that that's selfish, that there may be a perception that that's self-involved. But we're not talking about it in that way. We're not talking about a focus on self in the way that we experience it in the world. We're talking about the focus on the self that existed before. The self that's trying to become free of anything or anyone that's doing anything, but just is. The self that is the witness to the being that is in the world. You know, in Dzogchen, we talk about view like the sky. And when I first started meditating with Lama, I was very literal about it. So I'd like, oh, view like the sky, like just, Kelley, just stare at the sky. And there's peace and comfort in just looking out at the sky. I'm looking at the sky right now. And I probably have heard the term view like the sky, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of times over the last 25 years. And in the last several years, it started to have different meaning for me. It's not just like sit back, relax, and look at the sky. It can be that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you take it a step further, and you are the sky, you're a view like the sky, as if you're the sky, changes the perspective. The sky is emptiness. The sky is pure space. The sky holds all of the projections, the people, the houses, the cars, the clouds, the storms, the rainbows, the trees, the animals. The sky, the spaciousness is holding all of it, but it doesn't do anything with it. So if your view is like the sky, and if you can turn that view inside out and not look into the sky, but be the sky, it can shift your perspective on who and what you are and who and what needs to be done, which is actually nothing. If you notice, you don't gaze out at the sky and notice something swatting the clouds around. You don't gaze out at the sky and notice the sky wanting to change what is. It just allows. And so when we drop into who and what we really are and just be, we're really just the witness to the arisings. Anything that's happening within us and around us is just an arising, just like the weather. It just comes and it goes. And if we're able to get a glimpse of just being the observer, the I, the permanent I, that is the eternal witness, there's nothing to do. And that sounds wonderful, right? If we could only be like that all the time, we wouldn't ride the waves of suffering. We wouldn't experience so much of what we experience in a personalized way. It would still be happening, but it wouldn't be happening to us. It would be happening with us and around us. And so every interaction is an opportunity for us to create more space around us, where our presence can create that space, and we can allow what's happening to happen. I just had a very personal family, difficult experience, very intense experience this last week. And I approached it in such a different way. The I that I had attached to was the I who was responsible and it was meant to control and change an outcome. That's how I've approached this particular situation many, many times. And I had a certain level of success with it, but a lot of suffering internally. And this time I approached it with, this is just what's happening. A family member of mine is an addict and was going through a very, very difficult time. This is what was happening. And all I knew I could do was show up, create space, and love her. And then let what arose arise. And the outcome changed slightly, but how we got to the outcome changed significantly. She felt freer. She didn't feel judged. She didn't feel controlled. I felt freer. I didn't feel responsible. I didn't feel the burden. And so it didn't mean that what was happening wasn't exhausting and all the things, but it was a different way of relating to it because there was a spaciousness of this is just what's happening and what's the next right thing that needs to happen. And what I was able to do was witness my own addiction to a way of being, to who and what I thought I was, which was the fixer. I let go of that sense of identity. I let go of that cloak that I wear on as my personality and allowed what was happening to happen because the illusion was that I could have changed it to begin with. Right, so our intellectual and our analytical minds are part of this human program. We don't get to not be human. We're here, so we might as well work with what we have. And so when our minds get engaged, when our minds get hooked, it's not to shame ourselves or criticize ourselves for getting hooked. It's to notice that it's happened, to notice that our mind has gotten hooked into an attachment to an I, a way of being in the world, and to use our practice to unstick ourselves, to be in the infinite, to be in the unknown, to be who and what we really are. And it requires discomfort. It requires a letting go. It requires us to become rootless in a way, to let go and just be in the universe and be a witness. And in order to do that, we need to be in constant contact with ourselves. We need to be with ourself. Not the I, the Kelley, the mom, the teacher, the coach, the whatever. The pure I, the witness, the projector, the sky that just is aware of it all. And when we turn within and observe the one who observes, the perspective changes. A spaciousness arises, wisdom arises, love arises. It becomes a center of observation and of witnessing, not a center of doing. It's a pure primordial center of pure being. So let's practice with this for a moment. To reset yourself however you need to, whatever posture works for you. Let yourself be the I that you see yourself as being right now. Whatever comes to you, who am I? And sit on your seat. Allow yourself to be supported by whatever seat you're on. Allow your breath to naturally breathe in and out. Nothing to do. Your breathing does you. You don't even have to breathe. It just happens. So there's no right or wrong way to breathe right now. Just let your breathing breathe. With your eyes open, relax your jaw. Your mouth slightly open, your ears open, your throat open. See if you can get in touch with the I. I am. Whatever comes next, allow that to come next. Witness the projection of who you think you are. Is it true? Notice the attachments arise. Notice joy at the idea of who you are. Notice maybe fear at who you would be if you weren't that. I am. See what else arises or doesn't. Allow whatever arises to arise, the thoughts, feelings, as a witness. Oh, isn't that interesting? An objective curiosity. Who do I think I am? Like a film projector. When the projector is on, it emits light. All that comes out of the projector is light until something is put in the screen, in the viewfinder. So if there's no film in there, there's just light. Your thoughts, your feelings, there's just film. They come and they go, but it's not who you are. You are the projector. You are the light. You are the open, expansive sky. You are not the clouds. You are the pure, wide, open space. And everything else that's happening is just happening. There's no problem. Comes up over the screen, dissipates. The more still and quiet we get, the more clear we can become of all the projections that come and go. Feel your way into it. Feel the space around you. Allow for nothing to be done. Just this. Who or what is witnessing? Who or what is aware? I am. But don't fill in the blank. I am. Period. The end. Allowing the rest to be the karmic stream of projections. Anger, oh, there you are. Just as it is. I don't attach to it, there's no problem. Fear, it's just right there. Karmic projection, stream of consciousness. Even love, as the feeling of love arises. You don't need to attach to that either, just allow it. View like the sky, wide, open, expansive. Meditation like a mountain, getting used to that wide, open expanse. Unperturbed by all that arises. Purely a witness. And notice that even as the witness, there's a quality of warmth, a quality of compassion that naturally arises. It's not a cold edge, an interrogation room as a witness. It's a warm, soft, tender, open-hearted witness to all that is. It's not an empty room, it's an empty sunlit room. The thoughts that arise are learned, conditioned thoughts. They're not you. They're projections on the screen of awareness. Who or what is witnessing the thought? Who or what chooses to act on or not act on the thought? Slowly and gently, turn that awareness in on itself. Turn that awareness in to the projector. See if you can feel a spontaneous sense of compassion, of warmth, of tenderness. No matter how small it is, breathe into it. Breathe into that spark of love, that spark of compassion, that ember that is self-existing. The compassion you would have for a helpless newborn baby. The compassion you would have for a newborn baby deer. Innocent, pure being. Just like you. Feeling into that awareness. Turn it in on itself again. And back out. Wide, expansive, all-inclusive view. Finding the edge of where you think that awareness ends and reaching out just beyond it, feeling out just beyond it. Emphasis on the out breath, on emptiness. The sounds are just sounds. No one, no I to hear them. Just sound. All that is seen, just seen. No one to see them. All the thoughts that arise are just thoughts. Nothing to do. No I, no you. The awakened mind that does not originate in the past, the present, or the future. It just is. Unborn and undying. Take a deep breath. Shake it out for a minute. And now let's really meditate. The illusion that meditation is even separate from just being. Menla, could you please pull up the path clearing and wish fulfilling prayer? Page 11, I think. Up there. Yeah. We'll do this twice in Tibetan and once in English. Nusum Sanje Guru Rinpoche Nudru Kundak Dewa Chen Poja Barche Kunsel Dudu Drak Posel Soadepso Jingi Laptu So Chinang Sangwei Barche Jiwadam Sampalunji Druparjin Gilo Dusum Sanjay Guru Rinpoche Nudrup Kundak Dewa Chen Poja Barche Kunsel Dudu Drak Posel Sawadepso Jingi Laptu So Chinang Sangwei Barche Jiwadam Sampalunji Drupajin Jilo. Precious Guide, one with all the Buddhas of the three times, blissful presence and source of all spiritual accomplishments, fierce destroyer of illusion who dispels every obstruction, we pray to you for blessing, inspiration, and realization. Please remove all outer, inner, and secret obstacles and spontaneously fulfill our aspirations. And let's do the bodhicitta dedication at the bottom of page 13. Jangchup Senchok Rinpoche Makye Panam Kegyur Chik Kye Panyam Per Me Payang Gonne Gondu Pelwar Shok. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And finally, let's do Nyosho Kempo's dedication prayer. Through the merit of this, may the light of the Buddha's precious teaching remain for ages to come, the ground for every single kind of benefit and happiness. May all the supreme holders of the teachings, who uphold its living truth, accept to live for aeons, and their lotus feet stand firm. And so may the sun of altruism and well-being, in all its blazing splendor, shine the brilliant light of the study and practice of Buddha Dharma throughout every corner of the universe. I bow to the Buddha in your seat. Be them. Any practice questions, any sharing, anything at all, please feel free to put it in the chat, or even raise your hand and I can unmute you. Always so grateful to be here with all of you. It's a beautiful day to start. It's a beautiful way to start the week.
Thank you, Kelley. And I think you gave us some homework as well when you said objective curiosity. We can all probably work on who do we think we are. Thanks for that. Ryan's question about the chants anywhere to see. Ryan, if you attend any of our programs, we give the prayer packet out, whether it be a day-long retreat or a master class or a course, and you always have it. But we always, on Sundays, we put it up like we did today so that you can see those.
The secret for next time is you can always screenshot it when it's up. Take a photo with your phone.
So I want to remind you all that these programs continue to happen because of your generous donations. I put in the chat the link for donating and for membership. Membership has its privileges, so you can become a member for as little as $9 a month and have access to our library and discounts on programs as well as member-only events. Fiona said, is the edge a concept? I struggle to go beyond something I don't conceive of.
Well, yes. I mean, any words we use are essentially adornments or concepts anyway. So the edge is a concept to do just that. I mean, when I say go to the edge, it's an invitation to see if you have a concept of an edge. And like I think you said, Fiona, you can't conceive of it. So that's great. You know, I think whatever comes to you in that moment, if you see an edge or don't see an edge or feel an edge or don't feel an edge, is just what's happening. And so it's really just another question to turn in and of itself. Is there an edge of anything? And there might be somebody else who said, yeah, I got to an edge and I couldn't go beyond it. That's okay too. These terms are difficult because they're actually all concepts. They're all adornments from what just is happening. And so sometimes in these guided meditations, it's using our human conceptions to help us find who or what we think we believe is true, including the idea of an edge. So I don't know if that helps, but.
Well, thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Kelley, for that wonderful instructions. I think that there were some good practice things for us to take with us today. And reminder that we're here every Sunday from 11 to 12 Eastern Time. So I hope to see you again soon. Take care and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Love to you all. Thank you for being here.